I am feeling inspired. I spend almost every day on the bottom of an S-curve, so I guess it's an okay place to be, and I'm not in the poop. I met Mike after he went to the gym. He was on the elliptical at the gym, he went all the time, and he was feeling a little lightheaded that day. So he said, I think I better go home. Walked right off the elliptical, was about to go out the door of the gym, passed by the front desk, and the trainer, who knows him well, saw him. He said, buddy, you don't look that good, what's going on? Grabbed his hand, felt his pulse. Got a little concerned. Said, Mike, but I'm gonna need you to lie down right here on the floor, in front of the desk, in front of the gym. Mike was too weak to argue, so he laid down. Trainer went behind the desk, quickly told someone to call 911, and he grabbed the automatic external defibrillator, the AED, and he came around the desk with it. Mike looked up at him, his eyes widened. He shook his head side to side. He said, don't worry, buddy, said the trainer. He was an EMT, he knew how to use this. He said, I'm just gonna put it on you and it's gonna tell me what your heart rhythm is. That's all I wanna do, I just wanna check. Something seems wrong with your pulse. Smart thing to do. He put the defibrillator on Mike and the defibrillator started to bark out orders. Deliver shock, deliver shock. Mike was like, you are not gonna shock me. Trainer said, I gotta shock you, it says I have to shock you. You are not gonna shock me. Look, I see the scar on your chest, Mike, he said. You don't talk about it, so we don't talk about it, but you are young, there is a scar down your chest, we know you had something done to your heart, and your pulse is not. He didn't even finish his sentence. Mike passed out. Trainer hit the button, shocked him back to life. Mike had several more life-threatening arrhythmias in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. He ended up in the Mass General Hospital emergency room, and that's where I met Mike after he went to the gym, and he met his new cardiologist. What a way to meet your new patient. First of all, he did not talk to that trainer for a year. We'll talk about why later. They're talking again now. They're good friends, actually friends of mine. When I first met him, we had to go through a lot together. We had to go through a valve surgery together. We had to go through an implantable cardiac defibrillator for a 38-year-old together that he was going to have for the rest of his life. And you would think that this is what I learned and this is what I want to share, this journey that my patients go through, that I go through with them. And that is not it. I will tell you a little bit about them because it's relevant. There are 1.5 million adults with congenital heart disease in this country. Those are people who are born with something wrong with their heart, the typical blue babies. They may or may not have had surgery. 1.5 million. That is greater than the number of kids with heart disease in our country. The number of adults with congenital heart disease has surpassed the number of kids with heart disease. Now, we have done so well. It is a success story. It is fantastic. We have failed in one little way. 70% of them after the age of 18 don't come back to care. They're done. Mom dragged me in all the time, every year. I had catheters, I have procedures. I don't think I was completely asleep for that one. I had a surgery. They told me not to play sports. I want to go to the gym every day because it defines who I am, and people will tell me not to go to the gym every day, so I, Mike, will not see a doctor. Success story, failure. My learning curve initially was going through medical school, learning about these people. I was in school so long that we used to joke about whether the kindergartner would have her graduation with her cap before I got my diploma. I beat her by 3 months. That is not where I started to learn what I needed to do. It was when Mike went home. Mike lived on Nantucket, lives on Nantucket, and he said to me, I don't go off island. I said, okay, that's all right. Well, he had a wife, he had 2 kids under the age of 5. He had a small law firm, although his mom was walking around telling people, remember Mike, my blue baby, he died last week. He was like, Mom, how am I gonna build a practice if you keep telling people that, right? So he was a little worried about that when he left. But he said, I don't go off island, Doc. I said, that's not a problem. You know, I'm your doctor now, we're gonna build a relationship, look how close we are. And he said, no, Doc, I'm not coming. I don't go off island. I was like, the hell you're not coming? I am your doctor. Did you not hear this? I'm gonna take care of you. I have saved you. I'm gonna take care of you the rest of your life. Mike doesn't go off island. And so I had to change. Necessity begets innovation. I started telemedicine practice. That's a conversation for another day. I can talk to you guys about how you convince the Mass General Hospital that you, little ummy in the corner, need a telemedicine practice for the one patient in Nantucket. And then they do it. We started a telemedicine practice for him and many others like him who needed this. And I thought, this is great, I'm connecting with you. And then I thought, there is no cardiologist there with you. I am on a screen, how will I save you? So then I needed cardiologists in the community for people like Mike and many others who came. So rural areas, urban areas, I needed people who could do this subspecialty care. They weren't there. They didn't all study till they were 37 to get a degree. And I said, well, look, I'm gonna be your friend. You're a cardiologist in the community. I am your friend at Mass General. Don't worry, it's complicated. I will walk you through it. And they looked at me and they go, no. And so then I had to start an education side. So we started online education. We started ebooks. We started going out in the community and teaching. We started using nurses to teach other nurses, and we educated people. And they started to learn about congenital heart disease, but there's so much to learn about in medicine. So then I realized that was wrong. So we started research. We started research using big data to say, can you, using just the common things we do for patients in the community, tell me sick from not sick? That is all I need to know in the community. Is this person going to go down on the elliptical or not? Because that's what my community cardiologist needs. They just need to know sick from not sick. And so we started to do that. And so now we have protocols for people in the community to know risk stratification. Type it into your phone and you know who is sick or who is not. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than it used to be? Yes. We do that. We educate. We have telemedicine. Then I realized I don't have hands on the patient. And if you listen to a murmur, and maybe or maybe you haven't studied congenital heart disease, that murmur ends in your head. And then you have to verbalize that to me, and then my head has to interpret what I think you said and understand what the murmur sounds like. And so I started working with those 23-year-olds we're talking about in Silicon Valley on digital stethoscopes. And so this was, they were young. And so this was very interesting, right? Because they were bright, they were engineers. Yes, they all thought about Starship Enterprise and all of that, but they were great. And they gave me their first product and I was excited and all I heard was whoosh. And I'm with the patient and I'm testing it and all whoosh. And then I wanted to be nice because they're only 23 years old and I don't want to break their hearts and I know this is their company and they're trying to get venture capitalists interested, but was not going to do anything for me. So I told them, I said to the engineer, this is great, but this isn't working. And he said, what do you mean? I go, I can't hear the heart sounds. So sorry, can't hear the heart sounds. He goes, okay. And we worked on it, and we worked more, and they got better. And we tried it again. And so we're still working, and we're getting better at it. And so now I have a stethoscope that we can use in the community, and I can get that digitally right to my iPhone. We have handheld echoes in the community where I can see the pictures real time and help the cardiologists when they're in trouble. And so I have built it and it is fantastic and I'm loving it. And if you build it, they will come. They didn't come, right? We still have like a 70% no-show rate, right? They're not coming. And then I took a step back. That was great. I took a step back. Failure. I said, what is happening? And I realized you're missing the doctoring part. I wanted to be the Norman Rockwell cardiologist, right? I did medicine, I did pediatrics. I wanted to take care of anybody. I wanted to be side to side with people. I said, is my failure that I'm not side to side with them? I'm trying to use technology and it's putting a wedge in between us. And I kept thinking, is that my failure? And I didn't feel it was. I said, okay, hold on, just think. Keep doing what you're doing and think. And I realized they have PTSD. I built it, they are not gonna come. They have memories of a medicalized childhood. They have memories of procedures. They have people who told them they would never make it. They have doctors and parents who talked over them and said things that they thought a 7-year-old didn't understand. And boy, the 7-year-old didn't only understand it, they took it to be part of their soul and who they were. And so I started talking to my patients about this, and this was hard. And I thought I used to be good at talking to them. I wasn't. I had a lot to learn. And they used to tell me, well, if I'm only going to live to 50, why do I need to see the doctor at 42? I said, who told you you're only going to live to 50? Oh, I've always known it. So we got social workers, and we got nurses, and I worked with psychiatrists, and we built a health and wellness program where when they came in to see me, I did not talk about their heart, not once. Those visits were about them. It was about stress management. How am I building the law firm now that mom told everyone I'm a blue baby? How am I managing the 3 kids and the 1 job? My husband was diagnosed with cancer and I have heart disease. What on earth are we going to do? And we started to talk about health and wellness. We started to do exercise prescription because they were given exercise restriction as a kid. They were told, you get a pass for gym. That was the worst thing our industry could have done, and we did it. We didn't know any better. We didn't know how well we would do. So now we physically give them a prescription. You know what the prescription says? 20 minutes of exercise for the first 2 weeks. 30 minutes 3 times a day for the next 3 weeks, and then your goal is 40 minutes of exercise 4 times a day from then on. Call me when you get to that. It's literally what we say, because somebody needs to see in front of them that you need to do this. We work with cardiac performance programs now for those who want to be athletes. We have ones who are really doing wonderfully with athletics, doing Division I. It's great. But for the average person, I consider that myself. I'm not at 40 minutes, 4 weeks. If anyone's going to ask, just I don't do it 4 hours or whatever it is that I say. I don't have a piece of paper. It's not my fridge. We need basic help. And so this is what we reached out to do. And now, I don't want to say we've solved the problem. I think they're coming. I think we are coming together. I think we are starting to empower ourselves and empower them. The word empowerment is a tough one, right? If you think you can empower somebody, you don't even know what you're talking about. I think we are slowly getting there, where we are building a community around these people, and most importantly, we are talking back to ourselves as we take care of the 2-year-old and the 4-year-old, and we put them in mini kickball soccer. And we encourage them to be part of the conversation. And sometimes at age 12, mom has to leave the room, because at age 12, we have things we want to talk about with the doctor, and we want to be a young adult already. And so we are trying to make that kind of difference. So when you think about it, I started in this academic arena. Large medical institutions, go from one to the next, learn how to do this, learn how to do it right. Subspecialty care needs to happen in the subspecialty hospital. That, Dr. Bhatt, is what we have taught you for decades now. That is what I have taken in. That is when I was 7 years old and listening, what I heard, right? Granted, I was 27, but still it felt like being 7 in the medical industry, right? That is what I took in. And I think it's time to say that that's probably not right for everyone. I think it's time to say that tertiary subspecialty care not only can, but needs to happen in the communities where people live. They can't leave work. They can't come to the city for hours. They can't be reminded of things. They can't leave their kids. They've got to be at pickup when they need to. Subspecialty care needs to be in the communities where people live. It's their right. It's our responsibility. How are we going to get there? Well, I think days like today are days that we don't see enough when we are on the ground, right? And I think all of you know what that feels like. When you're on the ground, you see this, and you don't get a chance to see this. And so I'm hopeful that the health industry will learn from everybody else. I'm hopeful that other industries can take from us. But at the end of the day, I think the connection is possible. Most people go into medicine because they want that Norman Rockwell connection too, and we just have to remind them that that is possible. And then we have to give them the responsibility in a different way. It is a patient's right to get the ultimate kind of health care in the communities where they live. It is a student's right to get education. It is a civilian's right to get whatever they need to live their lives. It is a patient's right to get health care in the communities where they live. It is our responsibility. Thank you.